Imagine sitting down with a stranger, and within 10 minutes, they can tell you if your marriage is doomed, with over 90% accuracy. Sounds impossible, right? Well, there's a man who's been doing exactly that for decades. His name is Dr. John Gottman, and what he discovered about the hidden patterns in relationships might just save or end yours. Dr. John Gottman isn't just another relationship expert handing out advice. He's a scientist who has spent decades literally watching couples interact, thousands of them. In fact, he's so well known for his work that his research center has been nicknamed the Love Lab. But here's the shocking part. Gottman claims he can watch a couple argue for just 10 minutes and predict with over 90% accuracy whether they'll eventually divorce. Not based on how much they fight, but how they fight. That's the key most people miss. It's not about whether you argue. Every couple argues. It's about the tiny signals buried in those arguments that reveal if the relationship is breaking down. The words, the tone, the body language, they're all clues. And what he uncovered is unsettling. There are a handful of specific behaviors that, when they show up often, almost always point to a marriage on the edge. The first warning sign Gottman discovered is what he calls a harsh startup. It's how an argument begins, and if it starts with blame, sarcasm, or hostility, the outcome is almost always bad. Think about it. Starting with, "You always do this," or "You never listen," instantly puts the other person on defense. Gottman found that if a conversation starts harsh, it ends harsh more than 90% of the time. But that's only the beginning. What usually follows is something Gottman calls the Four Horsemen. No, it's not a WWE tag team. These are 4 toxic communication habits that predict the downfall of a relationship. Criticism, not just complaining, but attacking your partner's character. "You're so lazy," instead of, "I'm upset the dishes aren't done." Contempt, the most dangerous one. Rolling your eyes, mocking, name-calling. It's a way of saying, "I'm better than you." Gottman says contempt alone is the single biggest predictor of divorce. Defensiveness, the natural response to criticism, but it escalates the fight. Instead of taking responsibility, you fire back. "Well, maybe if you actually helped once in a while." Stonewalling, shutting down completely. This is when one partner stops responding, avoids eye contact, or just tunes out. To the other person, it feels like talking to a wall. When these 4 show up regularly, the relationship doesn't just struggle, it slowly starts to collapse. And most couples don't even realize they're using them until it's too late. Once the 4 horsemen enter the conversation, something even more dangerous can happen: flooding. Flooding is when your emotions hit so hard and so fast that you can't even think straight. Your heart starts racing, your hands might shake, your chest feels tight, and suddenly it's impossible to respond calmly. Gottman found that when you're flooded, your body goes into fight or flight mode. You're no longer problem solving, you're just trying to survive the argument. And the scary part? Once your body is in that state, it can take 20 minutes or more to fully calm down. If flooding becomes a regular part of your arguments, it can turn into physiological distress. This isn't just feeling upset, it's your body paying the price. High blood pressure, headaches, back pain, even stress-related illnesses. Some people start drinking more or withdrawing completely just to escape the tension. Over time, your nervous system starts to associate your partner with danger, not comfort. And that's when the relationship enters very risky territory. A quick interruption. If this video has been helpful so far, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's continue. Even the happiest couples fight. The difference between couples who make it and couples who don't comes down to one thing: repair attempts. A repair attempt is any effort to break the tension and bring things back to a calm place. A joke, a gentle touch, even just saying, "Hey, can we start over?" But when those repair attempts are ignored, rejected, or simply don't work anymore, the conflict grows deeper. Gottman discovered that when repair attempts fail repeatedly, couples stop trusting that things can get better. And that's when the memories start to shift. Instead of remembering the good times, you start rewriting your history negatively. That funny moment at your wedding, now you just remember that he was late. The vacation you loved, now you just think about the fight you had on the last night. This is what Gottman calls bad memories, when your mental highlight reel turns into a low-light reel. Once this happens, even neutral events are seen through a negative lens, and every little thing your partner does becomes more irritating. At that point, the relationship isn't just struggling in the present, it's being redefined by the past. Here's the twist most people never see coming. You think you're fighting about money. You think you're fighting about whose turn it is to do the dishes, but you're not. Gottman's research shows that the thing is never really the thing. Almost every argument is really about connection. When you feel disconnected from your partner, the smallest issue can turn into a war. But when you feel close and safe with them, those same issues suddenly don't seem so big. This is why many couples fight about the same topics for years: parenting, money, house chores, and never solve them. Because the fight was never really about solving the problem. It was about saying, I need to know we're on the same team. And when you finally feel heard and reconnected, the topic of the fight almost feels irrelevant. The emotional fire goes out, and you can look at each other and laugh again. If you're listening to this and realizing, wow, that sounds like us, don't panic. Seeing these signs doesn't mean your relationship is doomed. It means you have a chance to catch the problem early and turn things around. Start with softening your startup. Instead of opening a conversation with, you never listen, try, hey, I felt unheard earlier. Can we talk about it? It sets a completely different tone. Next, work on spotting the Four Horsemen as they appear. If you catch yourself criticizing, mocking, or shutting down, pause and reset. Even a simple, okay, that came out wrong, let me try again, can prevent a fight from spiraling. If you notice flooding, take a break. Step away for 20 minutes, breathe, let your body calm down, but make sure to come back and finish the conversation once you can think clearly. And most importantly, keep practicing repair attempts. They don't have to be perfect or dramatic. A joke, a hug, or simply saying, let's start over, can be enough to reset the mood. Gottman's research shows that couples who repair successfully after fights aren't the ones who never argue. They're the ones who never stop trying to reconnect. Remember, a marriage doesn't fail overnight. It fails when both people stop believing it can get better. So, what does all of this mean? Marriage isn't just about love, shared interests, or even common goals. It's about connection, the invisible thread that keeps two people feeling safe, understood, and close. When that thread starts to fray, the arguments, the Four Horsemen, the flooding, and the failed repair attempts aren't random. They're warning signals that your connection is weakening. The good news is, these patterns can be recognized, interrupted, and healed. Awareness is the first step. Once you see the signs, you have the power to act, to repair, and to rebuild. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you noticing these warning signs in your own relationship? And if you are, what small change can you make today to strengthen your connection before it's too late? Because the truth is, it's never too late to reconnect, but the longer you wait, the harder it gets.